4 RINO Republicans betrayed every gun voter here in Missouri by joining Democrats and voting to kill the Second Amendment Preservation Act in the House General Laws Committee. And guys, we've got the names for you. Aaron Dorr here at the Missouri Firearms Coalition. We've been discussing SAPA for years here. I'm going to skim over what SAPA is very briefly. SAPA simply says that Missouri cops will only enforce Missouri gun laws. That way, the next Democrat commie we have in the White House can't use our cops to enforce federal gun control laws. Because without SAPA, it won't matter in some ways how red, how free, how pro-gun Missouri is. Our cops will be used to enforce federal and unconstitutional gun control laws. The Democrats know that. That's why they're opposing SAPA so hard. The same thing is true with all the law enforcement lobbyists from St. Louis and Kansas City. All of that is normal. What we saw, though, last night in Jeff City in the committee was a whole new level of betrayal. Here's how it went down. So the lead sponsor of the bill, Representative Bill Hardwick, presented the bill in committee about 2 weeks ago. He was there for probably 45 minutes, laid the entire bill out, did a fantastic job. He is a champion for gun owners. I testified as well extensively in support of the bill. Fast forward 2 weeks later, and Wednesday night was the committee vote. So all the Democrats were a no vote. That's normal. But then, this was just shocking. In an act of pure betrayal to the gun owners who have elected them, Jamie Gregg, Matt Mattison, Rudy Veit, and Mike Koslow all joined the Democrats and voted to kill the Second Amendment Preservation Act. All of these guys, especially Jamie Gregg, claim to be incredibly pro-gun. And in fact, Gregg has pretty much already announced his candidacy to replace Mike Moon in the Senate in the 2028 primary. He wants to represent one of the most pro-gun parts of the state, Southwest Missouri. But last night, Gregg and these other 3 RINOs betrayed the very gun owners who put him in office in the first place. But that's not all, because we may have had the votes to still pass SAPA. Maybe. But the betrayal became complete as RINO Republicans Doyle Justice, Cameron Parker, and Renee Reuter all took a walk. And what that means in Jeff City speak is they knew what was on the committee agenda, and they chose to skip this part of committee to avoid having to vote either direction. So total cowards. Total cowards. I don't know about you and your day job. Are you allowed to skip difficult things in your day job because you don't want to do it? No, neither am I. But for these representatives, they were allowed to take a walk and not vote either direction on the Second Amendment Preservation Act. Now, as a result, we had 9 combined no votes and not enough yes votes to override that. This should make you burn with rage if you're a Republican, conservative, especially gun owner here in Missouri. Defeat is one thing. Defeat happens. But betrayal is entirely different. These are the same Republicans who demand our votes, demand our donations, and our volunteer time every 2 or 4 years to help get them elected and reelected. And then when we ask them for a simple committee vote, these same Republicans stab us in the back and literally join the Democrats to vote down gun bills. I hope this sinks in real deep. There are a lot of gun owners in Missouri, not MOFC members, but other gun owners in Missouri who think that things are fine. It's Missouri. The GOP has control. Well, that part is true. The GOP does have control. In fact, we have a 2/3 supermajority in both chambers. Despite that, Missouri hasn't passed a pro-gun bill into law in 5 years. All of that support from gun owners, what has that gotten us? We got a version of SAPA passed in 2021, and before that, it was constitutional carry in 2016. For heaven's sakes, we still had Obama in the White House. That is it. 2 pro-gun bills in a decade. Well, Iowa, and Oklahoma, and Arkansas, all these states run laps around us. And meantime, the Democrats, they're not stupid. They can smell this weakness in both chambers here in Jeff City. They can smell it. They filed dozens and dozens of gun control bills in response. a repeal of constitutional carry, repeal of preemption law, gun registration, ammo registration, red flag laws, and a total ban on semi-automatic rifles. What has our vaunted pro-gun GOP leadership done in response? Nothing. Nothing. No gun bills in 5 years. Compare that, if you will, to Virginia. Virginia has off-year elections, and so last fall, the Democrats took complete control in Virginia. In this 2026 session, which just ended, they passed 9 massive gun control bills in 60 days' time. They basically decapitated the Second Amendment in Virginia. 9 bills, 60 days. Here in Missouri, it's been almost 1,800 days since we've seen a gun bill become law in pro-gun Missouri. This should piss you off. And if it does, if this vote to kill SAPA in committee serves as a wake-up call to gun owners, and perhaps this will not be in vain. But if not, we're in real trouble here. Indiana gun owners thought their state would never pass gun control because they're a deeply red state. Then they passed red flag laws in 2018. Florida, they always say the same thing. Oh, we'll never see gun control in Florida. And in 2019, they got red flags and waiting periods. This is going to happen in Missouri if we let it. It's just that simple. The good news is that we're obviously aware of this, and we're not going to let this happen. Not if we have anything to say about it. This is an election year, after all, and gunners are going to have the last say on this. Not only in 2026, but in the case of people like Jamie Gregg, who want to run for office in 2028, we're going to have the last say then also. That's only if gun owners stand together and help us fight this fight. Much more on that in the future. For today, I want you guys to feel the weight of this. I want you to feel the anger of the betrayal that we have received from Republicans in Jeff City again. In the meantime, if any of these 7 state reps are your state reps, hell, even if they're not, contact them and tell them you're never going to forget this vote for as long as they're in office. They're going to pay a price for what they did. Again, guys, session ends middle of May. The primaries are early part of August. We'll have much more in the days ahead. But I'm going to leave you this one thought. We are going to see gun control pass in this state in not 20 years from now, shortly, if we don't get much more aggressive with our pro-gun Republicans in Jeff City.